I got a question.
What do The Rock, Joe Rogan, and I have in common? I mean, besides the obvious.
He needs some milk.
All three of us love McDojoLife. He's Joe Rogan's favorite Instagram page. We got to interview him, and today that's what we're sharing with you guys. He flew from Florida to Fresno to talk to the Vodo Boys in person. He runs a page where he shares hilarious videos about fake martial artists. His page is about exposing these Bengali characters who are out there mentally manipulating people. He's been at it for years, and he's been able to leave his job and work on his Instagram page full time. Creation Theory is a show for creative professionals, so you're gonna learn how McDojoLife got to this point and all the future projections that he has for his brand. It's a long-running episode, 2 hours, and we do delve into a lot of martial arts, but it's gonna be helpful for any creatives running their own brand. Check it out. What's up, everybody? It is episode 1 of Creation Theory, the show for creative professionals. And we are here with McDojoLife.
What up, people? Pew, pew, pew.
Welcome, McDojoLife.
Where's the button for that? There's a button for that? It's in
Oh,
there
here we
somewhere.
go. Wait.
Oh!
McDojoLife
That's
in the
awesome.
house. And we've got Jesse, the main actor of Mexican martial arts, right here. Well, main actor and writer. And we are all connected because we run Mexican martial arts. He runs McDojoLife. If you guys don't know about him, let me just say this. He is Joe Rogan and The Rock's favorite Instagram page. All right, let's look over here. Look at him.
my God.
Collabing with Master Ken. If you like martial arts and you're on YouTube, you know who Master Ken is. Check out
Look
his...
at how little my arms are compared to his arms. I gotta work out more.
You
Jesus.
know what you got to do. Get your tips from... we
I
can
gotta do
that.
some push-ups or something.
So, where can they find you?
Holy crap, dude! This is really well done. This looks
Yeah,
good. Like
thank you.
I'm a little taken back, man. This is cool. Send me this photo. This is awesome.
I will. That's your hand. Now, I put your handle up there. They can follow you on that across all social media channels.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a McDojoLife on everything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What else, man? It's on Twitch.
Friendster.
About to start a Twitch channel. So.
Oh, nice. What are you
Yeah,
going to
dude.
do on Twitch?
Well, the ultimate goal is to have it so that way I get, I'm able to, because of the exposure that the page has, reach out to a lot of martial artists, like people who are in the community, MMA fighters, influencers and stuff like that. And the ultimate goal is to get those guys who are also gamers to come on to the Twitch stream. And that way people who like their stuff, for instance, let's say hypothetically, let's say there was like a new WWE game that came out or something like that, right? And you know how you can make custom characters or whatever.
Right,
let's say if I was working with Vincent, right? Let's say
Yeah.
I was working with him, and he had his own like Jesse in the game. You know what I'm saying? And people would just be playing, and all of a sudden realize like, oh shit, that's the actual guy. Or like if it was like a fighter, like hypothetically, I'm not going to say that it will be him. I don't have any contact with him, but let's just say somebody was on there playing the new UFC, and then they were playing against Conor McGregor. How awesome would it be as halfway through they start talking to you and you realize that is actually Conor McGregor playing against me.
that's cool.
So that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to get those people to interact and play against their fans.
Nice.
You know, so I think that would be really fun, and I think people would appreciate that, which we were just talking about before we started to film, about interacting with your fans is so important, and taking that time to really reach out and communicate with them, because you never know. Like that could be
You never know who it is.
yeah, that could be so and so's cousin.
Rob, so Creation Theory is all about talking to other creatives, and it's a chance for me and Vincent to like bombard you with questions that we have
All right, hit me,
about
man.
your journey, how you do things, and then if you have any questions for us, obviously we can go back and forth. Just so that people who don't follow him, obviously go check him out, but he's got over 300,000 followers across all of his channels, and his biggest one is Instagram, which he has 200K followers on it. And then just to go through some of these things, you can actually buy some of his merch at Teespring.
Dude, this is awesome.
20% off today. But he's wearing a hat
Disclaimer:
right now.
it's not 20% off.
McDojoLife. He's wearing the actual hat.
And actually, our website is about to drop in February.
Oh, nice.
So, because the internet's fickle, you don't know when something might have the rug pulled out from under it. So that's why you have various social medias. You don't just do one, right? Because if you just do one, and Instagram one day just goes, you know what? bah, and then shit like turns off the light, then what are you gonna do? You know, so the goal is to get everybody to the website and make the website interactive as I can get it. But then I'm gonna be switching from Teespring, but I'm on Teespring currently. So,
why are you switching?
Well, Teespring is good, but for the type of products that I'm trying to push out, like rash guards, the Teespring doesn't make that.
Yeah.
And you know, like the ability to print all over the shirt, the Teespring doesn't really do that. I think they might have just released that function.
Like those wraparound.
Yeah,
ones
wraparounds, but like
yeah.
for a lot of people ask me for rash guards, and I'm like, well,
They
can't.
ask us for rash guards too.
Yeah, man,
How are
like-
you gonna get them done?
I'm gonna get them done through Printful and Shopify.
Printful does rash guards?
They do.
Chant, we might have to get
I'm telling
on
you,
that.
man, it's all about like right now. The hard part though is like I'm trying to find good artists.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there who happens to be watching this and you're a fantastic artist, please let me know.
Hit them up. Hit them up.
Yeah, dude, because like I don't know if you follow. There's a page called Leg Locker.
Oh yeah.
Leg Locker, and the dude's awesome. He's got a great work ethic. He's got a good thing for jiu-jitsu where he's working to try to get all these different martial artists who do leg locks at their studios to kind of combine and like, hey, if you like leg locks, you can go train here to do those. But his stuff is fantastic. The artists that he has for his rash guards are just incredibly good. So like I feel like I got to step up my game. I was like, shit, this dude's got the rash guard game on point. I got to step it up. I got to do something better. But it's cool because like I like how all of us in the community are working together to help each other grow because it's not a big community. Martial arts community is a very small, tight-knit tribe, and they all try to segregate themselves. You know, karate people are just karate people, and taekwondo people suck.
Yeah.
And then jiu-jitsu people are like, I would choke you out, and the taekwondo people are like, I'd kick you in the face. It's like being in the Lord of the fucking Flies, but in the Lord of the Flies, like everybody doesn't want to work together at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's like our taekwondo people. If you'd like to come with me, we're gonna go hang out in the back. We're not gonna associate with these scum. You know, it's like, dude, like we're all in the same business. Like you're making something already smaller. Why? Doesn't make any sense. Work with each other. Collaborate. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? They get one of your fans too? You know, like, it's not... They can like both of you. Like,
Right,
you know?
yeah. There's enough to go around.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, do you think that they're going to buy only that person's products and or shirts or apparel? Like, you know, they're not. If they like your stuff, they'll represent because they like it. But if you're like an asshole and you're cutting everybody else out of the picture, then no one's going to want to work with you because no one wants that. That doesn't help. It's not conducive to growth. Growth, you need to help, you know?
Right.
Like I'm a big fan of that. I like collaborations are huge. They really help each other grow, you know?
When it comes to like your different ideas of pulling things like rash guards, you have the hat, the shirts. I want to get one of those mugs. That looks nice. But how are you going to handle... Because, you know, only certain places will make rash guards, and maybe that place won't make mugs. The place that make mugs, maybe they won't make patches. Like, people have asked us, you should make a patch.
Yeah.
How are you yourself, because we're trying to figure this out too, how are you going to figure out from all these different places to just send them out from your one website? Are you going to do it yourself?
Oh yeah.
Who's
like
going to do that legwork?
there are people who do that. Like I've seen people who to make more money, it is more conducive to reaching out to like Pakistan and China and stuff like that, having your stuff produced there and then shipped over.
How do you do that?
You can't. I don't know how, but I know you can, right?
Okay.
But I'm not. I don't want to do all that work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want a fulfillment services are the best to me. And
Printful, Teespring.
Teespring, you know, all that run through Shopify. Like, you're welcome for the free advertisement. But you know, those things are so good because, like, first of all, what I found out about Printful is they make everything and manufacture everything in the United States. Most fulfillment services are not based here in the States. Like, they are outsourced. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know. It's something that means something to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they do all the work. So all I have to do is set my margins, my price margins, and then sit back and just see if it works. And then after that, I don't have to be a salesman. Like, I don't want to be a salesman.
Yeah.
My job is not to shove my merchandise down your throat.
Feels dirty.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't feel like you're doing this for creativity and an outlet anymore. You know, like, this is my outlet. This is my way of giving back to a community that's given to me. You know, this is my, like, thing I want to do before I pass away. Like, I can leave a legacy here, I think, and change things for the better well after I'm gone if people understand you can't go around screwing people over anymore. Yeah. You know, there are people who are watching you. This entire community is looking at you. And if you're going to lie to people and you're going to be shady, then understand that they're going to call you out, which hasn't really happened up to this point. Everybody's just like, you know what? they're gonna fail. No one. And then next thing you know, you look on their website and you're like, yeah, they have like over 1,000 affiliate schools. You're like, Jesus. Like it's like a cancer, dude. It just spreads. Like stuff like that's got to be checked. You can't just let that fly, you know. But again, like I don't want to just shove stuff down people's throats to buy. If they like what I do and they want to support what I do, I want to give them the outlet to purchase the things that they would like. And I pretty much do that with everything. Like for interviews that I do, I ask people. I like go on Instagram and I go, hey guys, who should I interview? And they just throw people at me, and I'm like, I literally go onto my Instagram stories, I put a picture of them up, I tag them, and I say, hey, would you be interested in an interview? For everybody to see. Like, look, I asked this person, like, and I move on. And I'll do that like once every couple months. I'll do it. I'll just do it, get a big lineup, and then I'm like, hey, would you like to do this? Would you like? And most people are just cool. Like, they're like, everybody I've reached out to that I thought would just completely ignore me, they all answered.
Oh, really? Even if they say no, so sometimes they say no.
They'll answer. They will talk to you. Yeah. You know, which is important. That's a huge thing. You know, because that shows that they're real people. Like we always put these people on pedestals, like they're out of reach. They're not out of reach. They're people. They have a job. They just have more eyeballs on them than you do. You know, or we do.
I think about that sometimes, like trying to get in touch with people either for collabs or some help or feedback or whatever. And I think, no, look at how much of a following they have. I'm just gonna get lost in the messages or whatever.
No, man. Like if you just reach out, you'd be amazed what will come back. Like I got done doing a collab in LA, and then I drove out here. But when I was there, I was having a conversation with the person, and we were talking about what it takes to be successful in some way as a content creator. And I think it's the same thing to be successful in anything that you do. It has to do with relationships that you build with people. Like the more you think me, I, the more you're doing shit alone, completely alone. Right. And I always look at homeless people like, I'm not saying that this is 100% accurate and it's just my opinion, but I always wondered how they got to the point in their life where if they did not have a mental disease or illness or something like that, how did they get to the point where they're out there all by themselves and there's absolutely no one willing to help them? You know what? Like I always want to think that if I ever, like the bottom falls out and everything fails and I lose every dime and the stock market crash, like everything possible bad that could happen, lose my house, all that shit, right? I would hope that if I did the right thing up to that point, that I had enough people on my team to want to go, you know what, dude, I understand shit gets hard. Come, we'll help you out. But the only way you can do that isn't through money. Money it's gonna go. It's gonna disappear. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna pay somebody else, and that's it. But if you build healthy relationships, then what'll happen is you will always have somebody who's willing to back you and willing to work hard for you because you worked hard for them. Like it's all about relationships and people. All this shit, like if tomorrow Teespring goes down, I don't give a fuck. I will find another way to print a t-shirt, but like the person who helped me do that, the person who helped me put that together, that relationship will still be there as long as you're good to those people, So, okay, it crashed. Cool. I can be like, hey, Steve, can you help me out with this thing real fast? Yeah, not a problem. Like it would be just like that because you build good relationships. Treat people respectfully, give as much as you possibly can, you'll get it back.
So what about your DMs? Are you, when people reach out to you, because like I said before, you have like 200,000 followers now. You probably get a lot of DMs. Are you also trying to get in there and reply to all these people?
Every one of them.
Every single one.
Every one of them. Even if I can't get to it right away. But that's a constant. You see my phone's right here. But that's like a constant, like, and sometimes I can't have long conversations with people, they send me content. I say thank you. I let them know I appreciate them. Thank you for the support. Sometimes I repeat myself a lot, but that's because I'm having individual conversations. To me, I've said that same thing 50 times in a day. To them, it means something. I've had, especially recently, people are like, oh my God, I didn't think you would respond. Like, why not? What that tells me is there's a lot of assholes out there. We're not that important. I am not that important. I am just a human being. But people like base you off of your like value, almost based off of like the number of followers you have.
Social clout.
Like, you're like, oh man, that guy's got like 500,000 followers. Like, okay. And he still took a shit this morning, probably. He still had to wipe his ass the same way you did. Like they're just people. And I think that sometimes, as long as you can remember that as you grow, I think that that's what keeps people honest and good. And I think once you start buying into the bullshit, like, oh, I got like 1 million followers, that's right. Like, no, now you're just an asshole. Like, you didn't get the 1 million followers by acting like that, most likely. You got that 1 million followers because you dedicated some time and effort to the people who got you there. Every last one of those 200,000 and something people, if they were to reach out to me today, I would make sure that I took the time to answer and respond to them, because if it wasn't for them individually in those individual relationships, I wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't have been able to quit my job. I wouldn't be able to do this full time. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. They did all that, and I have to give them respect by at least acknowledging their existence.
You know what? Well, let's talk about the journey of that. I want to explore how certain people did these things full time. How did you become a full time videographer? How did you become a full time Instagrammer or whatever? Well, how did McDojoLife begin, the channel?
Oh, well, I've done martial arts for 21 years, so it started off, I guess, as a passion because I really love it. I think that it's helped me and made me a better person along the way. But I started McDojoLife because I was having a conversation with a student after a class, and the student was like, we were talking about McDojos. He goes, "What's a McDojo?" It's like, "You've never heard of that before? You never heard of a McDojo?" He goes, "No, I don't know what that is." I was like, "Oh, well, because you forget, you people out there might not know." So we started talking about what it was and what we considered that, and then his response struck me, and it stuck with me for a couple weeks after that. But he said, "Nobody does anything about that?" And I go, huh. And just kept echoing in my head.
Bad signal.
Yeah, it's like, nobody does anything about that? I'm in the shower. Nobody does it. Like, what the fuck? That's weird that I have a voice in my head that's echoing, but that's interesting. I was like, nobody really does do anything about that. Nobody really does call these people out, because all the people who are shysters, they form their own martial arts organizations and groups, and they give themselves medals, and they kiss each other's asses. And then they, of course, people are like, oh, well, they're just, never mind them. But those organizations grow, and they grow, and they grow because they're organized. So they might be lying, but that lie is perpetuated through hard work and dedication to their lie. And then it grows. And people are always like, how did they get so many of these? It's because forever you all ignored them. You ignored them. You thought that problem was just going to go away. By ignoring a problem like that, you're accepting it. And you're just as at fault for allowing those people to exist and do that to people as if you were doing it yourself to me. Like, if you don't, if you saw somebody taking somebody's purse and you're staring at that going, somebody should step in. You should step in. It's like the same thing. You're watching these people get shiced and you're going, idiots. No, that person's getting taken advantage of. They don't know any better, they really don't. They've watched a kung fu movie or two. They don't know. You forget that there was a time where you were white belt and you walked into a studio and knew nothing, absolutely nothing about martial arts. And you see this bigger than thou guy comes in, bravado, he's got really good charisma, and you're like, dude, that guy's got something. And the next thing you know, 5 years of your life goes by, and there you are on the floor pretending to be knocked unconscious, and you're like, where did it all go wrong? I think I've made a mistake somewhere in my life.
Or like Joba.
I
made a terrible mistake. Wait, so Vincent is actually a Kempo teacher.
Yeah, that's
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore, but
yeah.
You were saying you were a teacher. What were you teaching?
So I started when I was 12, and then I did karate up until forever. I still do karate. I love karate. And then after that, I decided to open up a karate school. I was working, teaching karate at the time. Then I decided to open up my own. Then after I decided to open up during the time I had my own, I was training jiu-jitsu. And then when I was doing jiu-jitsu, my instructor there, he bought my company out. He was like, hey, I like what you're doing with your karate school, because I was doing a lot of on-site stuff. And I was doing all right financially. And he was like, look, we'd like you to do that for us. And because it was getting to the point where my martial arts studio was growing, and I was also working for this jiu-jitsu academy, so they were kind of butting heads just a little bit. If I got a new account, who gets it?
Right,
Does my school get the account, or do I give that to them? And so it just became too much to manage. And I was like, you know what? I just want to work for one place. I'm tired of having to worry about taxes, which sucked. I was like, I want somebody to take taxes out for me. So I decided I was just going to teach jiu-jitsu. So I started helping out with kids' classes, became their striking coach, because that was my background. And then, started helping teach jiu-jitsu. And that's what I was doing all the way up until 3 weeks ago, when I was able to say, you know what? I think it's time for me to dive into this. So yeah.
So 3 weeks ago you finally just quit your job and then.
Well, I'm there part time.
or-
Like I teach. Like I'm there behind the desk on Mondays and Thursdays as like a buffer.
Yeah.
You know, like I really do enjoy being there. When you're, I've been at that academy for over 8 years, almost 9 years. Like a piece of that academy I still feel ownership to. You know, I like to see it grow. I want it to succeed. But at the same time, if I didn't jump off the ledge and decide to go after this full time, then I would always have that nagging thing in the back of my head, like you could have done this. There could have been something great. You had an opportunity, and it just felt like the right time. You know, I actually have a friend of mine who was he's like 2 classes away from getting his MBA in finance and business finance, and he like works at a bank and stuff. And I asked him financial advice. Ironically enough, at a strip club. And it was usually a bad place to ask financial advice. Like, here's $1, here's another $1. Yes, I understand. This is a good idea of what to do with our money. But we were sitting there talking, and like he gave me like really good advice. He asked me all the right questions, and he said, he asked me how much I had in savings. He asked how much I was willing to put down. What was my game plan? And after I told him pretty much my start to finish end game, he was like, "You need to do this right now." He was like, right now the iron is hot. He goes, people are paying attention to what you're doing. That might not be there tomorrow. And that's true. There is, unless you continue to grow your brand and continue to understand that times can and do change, then your brand will just die. Like just because this is a flavor of the week doesn't mean I can't make it the flavor of the month or the year. I can do that if I pay attention to what's going on and what's missing. Yeah. And really with my site, I thought that the site was going to be me calling out frauds, and that's not what it's really turned out to be. I thought that's what I was doing, but I really realized before I quit that wasn't what I'm doing at all. I didn't understand what the fuck I was doing. What I'm really doing is I'm providing consumers with an opportunity to look at the martial arts before getting into it and understanding it a bit better. I didn't think about that until I started thinking about what I can do to grow the content and the brand. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? There really is absolutely nobody helping the consumer in this market. No one. There's plenty of organizations that you can join if you're a school owner. There's plenty of magazines that you can read if you're already in the martial arts. There's plenty of websites you can go to, like YouTube and stuff like that, to get advice while you're already in it. But there's nothing about how to get started in it and what to look for in the pitfalls. It doesn't exist.
Like a filter.
Yeah, exactly.
For a filter for the newbie to the inside of the martial arts.
Yeah, and I think that by making it a satire page, I did that accidentally. By mixing a little bit of comedy in there and by showing the frauds and stuff like that in there, people laugh at both, and then at the same time they feel compelled to get angry and upset about it. So that duality is there, and they're like, man, I can't believe these people exist. Ha ha ha. Yeah. It's but what a lot of people who follow the page now don't even train martial arts, which kind of blew my mind.
Right.
But it opens a dialogue. And then they go, I've always wanted to do this, but I was worried about this and that. I was worried about maybe this, I saw this as a kid, or I always thought this was fake. But that dialogue allows these people an avenue to go, you know what, I think maybe now is the time I should do this. This is maybe some stuff I want to avoid. I don't want to work with those people. But look, all these legitimate martial artists follow the page. Yeah. They can get that information from them. So
because that's kind of where I fall. Get someone who's not a practitioner at all. I've never dabbled in martial arts, any classes, but I mean, even I can see. I mean, anybody can see the entertainment value in these videos. But sometimes I remember maybe 6 years ago or something, when YouTube was new, and I was like, "What did you think, Vincent? When you first? Or what about you too? What did you think when you first saw these no-touch videos? Because when I first saw them, I was amazed. I was like, wait a minute. There are other powers at work here. What?
The voodoo is real. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Vincent? What was your first impression, man?
Honestly, when I first saw that, because here's what I focused on. Where are you going to find people that crazy to go along with this teacher? So I thought, it can't be fake. Because that would be a whole lot of bodies that are really, really messed up to go along with this. So then I thought maybe it's that thing you hear about sometimes where we've only really accessed a certain percentage of our day, and maybe if I tap into that, and I'm gonna stop eating fried food. and I always thought, at some point I'll delve into
It's
that.
my diet. My diet is it's messing up my chi.
Something like that. But there was a part of me that was like, there must be something, because why would these people just fall down for these guys? How could they sleep at night? The instructors, I could understand, because money will motivate someone.
Yeah.
But the students, why would they fall?
Multiple students.
Yeah,
A
a lot.
lot. So that's where I was at.
And like, see, I had an opportunity to kind of already look into some of this stuff before the page was even a thing. Like, I knew that this stuff existed. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've seen shysters. I knew no-touch stuff was out there because there was a very famous no-touch guy in Jacksonville, Florida, where I grew up and where I live now. But his name is Jack Hogan, and he did this video, and I tagged it, and it was one of those things that I was fortunate enough to have a lot of people share. But I tagged it, just said mind bullets. And he's like, throws his hands up, and the guy falls over, right? And I'm like, but I met this guy.
Is that a Tenacious D reference?
Yeah, you like that, right? But I met this dude when I was a kid because he and my instructor were friends. And like,
wow.
yeah, like I just came across like Jack Hogan. I was like, oh my God, that's the same fucking guy. But when I met him as a teenager, he came into the studio to talk with my instructor, and my instructor knew about that stuff, but they were still friends. Everybody has like an asshole friend. You're like that, yeah. But he's our asshole. So you might not believe, you might not agree with everything your friends do, but maybe you support him. So they were friends. And Jack Hogan comes in and he talks to my instructor, and they were shooting the shit or whatever. And he goes, man, I got this new technique I'd like to show you. And my instructor was like, why don't you show it on Rob? And of course, I'm like, it's like me, Jack Hogan, and my instructor.
Yeah.
Were in that room. And I was like, shit, okay. Well, as my instructor, I'm gonna be respectful, right? So he goes, come here, can I borrow you? He tells him what he's going to do.
Well, when that happened,
yeah.
Did you already not believe in no touch?
Well, I didn't know it existed at that point.
You didn't know he did that stuff?
No, I didn't know any of this.
Okay.
No, I didn't find out till well after that's what he... Well, actually, at that very moment, I kind of got the idea. So he comes up to me, and he cups his hand like this, like he makes a little bowl with his hand, and he slaps the shit out of the back of my neck. Right? He hits me so hard in the back of my neck, right? And it jarred me a little bit, of course. Like, you get a little whiplash or whatever, but it just stung. Like, it hurt. Like, I was like, ow. And he's like, huh, no, it didn't work. And then he took his hand and he does it again. Bow! And I was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, dude, look, whatever was supposed to happen ain't happening. It just, that hurt. Like, you're
Isn't
slapping
that kind of like punching someone in the face, and if you knock them out, saying that was the cheat?
That was what I was trying to do the whole
Right.
time. Yeah. Well, like, he was definitely trying to knock me out using that technique. But like, I don't remember the exact conversation after that, but the gist was it didn't work. And I was like,
wait, is that why your teacher said, nah, try it on Rob?
Yeah, probably. But I didn't know this guy, so maybe they had like an inside joke thing or whatever. I don't know. But the guy legitimately, from his mannerisms, his posture, his demeanor, his inflection, his tone, was that he really did think that was going to knock me out.
So he was perplexed.
Yeah, he was very like confused as to why it didn't. But he was like, well, maybe he needed to work on it or something like that. And I'm sitting there, and it always struck me as odd because Jack Hogan wasn't a big guy. He was like 5'5", 5'6". He's a small guy. But man, like, he slapped shit out of the back of my neck. Now, if we were in a slapping contest, he would have slapped the shit out of me. But like,
when he did that, was your tongue in the wrong place?
oh yeah,
Was one toe up and then one?
the toes. If you just do them like this, they'll just they'll never knock him out. Then I shouldn't be telling you this. But the toes, if you alternate them, and their tongue is in them. Every one of those videos at least has 4 or 5 comments of people saying, how do people fall for this? And like, I think I've kind of figured it out, but of course, I'm looking to do the documentary about it and then really get deep into the psychology and the whys and all the stuff that I don't understand. But I think I kind of get a little bit of it because, like, when you walk into a martial arts studio for the first time, the only question that you know to ask is how much.
Yeah.
That's it. If you don't have any previous martial arts experience, that's what you ask. But it's weird because on the scale of important questions, that's really like maybe question number 5. Like, in a scale of like, have you been to jail before? Have you molested children before? Are you CPR certified? Have you, have you had a federal background check, local background check? Questions that you would ask pretty much any standard daycare center. You'd be like, if you're going to take care of my child, these are things that I would like you to have. But then for some reason, in Martial Arts Academy, they don't ask those questions. You know, people for some reason don't think to ask those questions. And you know, like if you have like a record, that doesn't make you a bad person, you know, but it's nice to have that transparency, you know, because like there's a big difference between going to jail for tax evasion and going to jail for molesting kids. You know, like
even if they're not doing something wrong, these instructors are way more hands-on than their school teacher. So they should be looked into more.
Yeah, exactly. You need to like don't have blinders on when you're adjusting. But the funny thing is like the reason I brought that up is that first question, because you can be guided and to make decisions. You know, we all get guided to make decisions, to buy things we don't really need, to drink a certain soda, to say certain phrases. We get guided that way. You know, like if you think about like how certain things work, like what do they call it? It's pop culture. Pop culture. You know, like I would never say a certain phrase or a word. Then next thing you know, it's a phrase and a word you use all the time because everybody else uses it. Now you feel obligated. You know, but whenever somebody comes into a martial arts studio, there's very interesting things that you can do to guide people's decisions. So, like, there are 5 objections that most people make before they decide to sign up for a studio. It's, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I have to talk to my spouse, I have to think about it, it's too far away. Those are the 5 objections you will get as soon as somebody walks into your studio and you go to sign them up. They will throw those out there because most people don't know how just to say the word no. It's weird. If you've ever worked in a gym or anything like that.
Well, I know someone like that.
People just don't know how to say no. You know, it's okay to say the word no, but they don't. So what they do is they make up bullshit to tell you so they can get out of it, right?
Yeah.
But they approached you. It's not a cold call. I didn't call you. You called me because you wanted to come to join. You told me all these reasons you wanted to be here, but then you hold these little nuggets in your back pocket because you're scared to pull the trigger. Now, those can be used to help you become a better person, or those could be used to take advantage of you. If you want to lose 150 pounds because your doctor said you needed to go to the gym or you're going to die, I can use those tactics to get you your foot in the door, to get you started training when you spent 30 years of your life eating cheeseburgers and never working out. I can use that to guide your decision. But if I'm a fraud or a shyster, I can also use that to take advantage of you. So for instance, let's say hypothetically, you came into my studio. Well, McDojo's dojo, right? Welcome to my school. What was your name?
Alex.
Oh, cool. Are you coming from home or work?
I'm coming from work.
Oh, awesome. So where's work at?
Down the street.
Okay, so right down the street. Now you cannot tell me at the end whenever I actually sign you up, you can't use it's too far away. You can't tell me that. I fucked you. I already did. You're already getting fucked. You don't even know it yet, right? So cool. You can't use that excuse. I won't tell you that. But now I know, and you know, that you're right down the road. You can't tell me it's too far away, right? And then here's another cute one. So, and you can do me a favor. This is a fitness assessment form. And on this fitness assessment form, I'll have you fill it out, right? Your basic stuff, name, address right here. Right here, it just says, how many days a week can you train? So let's say you really enjoyed the class today, right? How often do you think you'd be able to train?
2 days a week.
Awesome, 2 days a week. Now you can't tell me you don't have time. You don't know that you're giving me this information, but you are, right? And then let's say, what's the other one? I have to think about it, or I have to talk to my spouse, right? So here's a more fun one, right? So those two you can eliminate really, really easily. If I sit there and I'm talking to you and I'm going, hey man, so what made you want to come in here and do martial arts? And you tell me whatever your reason is, and all I have to do is ask a very simple question. How long you been thinking about doing this? And you give me any answer that's above a week, you can't tell me you have to think about it. You can't. You already thought about it. You already told me that you've been thinking about losing that weight for 6 years of your life. You told me that, and I can call you on it. So whenever we sit down, you go, man, I really got to think about it. I go, what's there to think about? You told me already that you've been waiting 6 years of your life to lose this weight and become a better person, a better you. You can't give me that bullshit. And you know what? That's how that works.
So no touch. You guys are writing all this.
Well, maybe.
Well, these are like good sales tactics.
Well, these are real.
Like
these are legitimate
whatever.
sales tactics. So these are, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this because those are the normal triggers that people pull instead of saying the word no, and it really can be detrimental to them. You know, if you really do need to lose weight and you're coming up with all these excuses, a good coach is going to coach you, whether it's on the mat or off the mat. And if I'm a good coach, I'm going to call you on your bullshit day one. You got to think about it? Bullshit. You don't have to think about it. You already told me, right? And then here's another cute one because of the spouse thing. You go, and your spouse, are you married, dating somebody? Oh, yeah, that's cool. Me too. I got it. All right, cool. And they support you in your decision, right? What are you going to do? Tell me no? So you're going to say yeah. So now you can't tell me that you have to consult somebody because you already told me you already did. And you already told me they have your support. So all of these things are to just get your foot in the door. But what most people don't realize is martial arts isn't like a lease, you know, on a house. You know, some of these people are dedicating 2, 3, maybe your entire life to the arts, right? And what happens is once you start to get into one art, most people, I'm not saying that people don't, but most people do the one art. They do one, and they just do that forever. Well, what happens when 10 years of your life goes by? And all of it comes back to that first initial conversation. You know, all I had to do was get you started. And then everything else will slowly fall into place. My curriculum can slowly be built around, you know, eventually getting you to the no-touch thing. But it's, hey, you have to be a very specific rank to get to there. It's a closed-door thing. We don't just invite anybody. You have to be very high-level, high-skilled to be able to do this. It's very dangerous. We don't want to expose you to this too soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to invite you to a very special seminar to get you to that next level. Of course, I'm going to charge you for it. But and then they pour it on. So it's a slow indoctrination of horseshit, but you feel a part of something, because most people don't stay with the martial arts because of the martial arts. They start the martial arts because of the martial arts, but they don't stay with it because of that. You know, like, again, we were talking about somebody trying to lose weight. Well, what happens if they're learning bullshit, but they are losing weight?
Yeah.
What do? They're stuck at a crossroads. Do I go, man, you know, this is complete bullshit, but it's helping me. You know, I did lose 100 pounds. Which isn't the case with most no-touch knockouts. If you look at the masters, like, obviously not. But they love them cheeseburgers, buddy. But, you know, like, what happens if they're getting something out of it either way? Yeah. So that's the hard part. Like, what is legitimate and what's not is the real ultimate question.
That's what happened when I was pursuing judo.
Yeah.
I got a lot of good stuff from it. I think with any martial art, like, one of the reasons I got sick of teaching Kempo was because I was teaching certain things that was like, this is ridiculous. Because I think Kempo will always be my favorite martial art. I love so many things about it. But I learned, I think with any martial art, I think anyone that knows enough about different martial arts can say this, that they wouldn't say only ever do this one. So when I was doing judo, I found enough good in it, enough things that made sense, that whenever something was thrown at me that I knew was dumb, I was like, okay, I'll go along.
Okay.
And I think that's what those people might be doing, because there were times when I'd learned certain throws and body mechanics, and like, wow, this is easy. I just got to move this way and move that way, and the guy's gonna fall over. I got to put my foot here, and he'll trip right over. And so then there were certain times when one of the senseis would want to demonstrate something on me. And then he'd be like, "Oh, your foot was supposed to go right there." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's try it again." Because he's trying to teach the kids, and I'm like, I don't want to mess it up. And I'd already had enough faith in him because of all this other cool stuff I learned. It's like, okay, I'll go along with this. And I feel kind of bad for that now. Like, maybe I was taking part in misleading people, but maybe it's that same thing. They get so far and they're losing weight, and there's enough positive happening that they're like, I'll fall over.
Yeah, or you know, it doesn't even have to be that. Like, some of these people, like, even though that they're frauds in their eyes, I don't think they feel they are. I think they truly think that they're helping people, and they may be genuinely just nice. You know, the kind of like guy who's like, yeah, man, I heard you're moving. I'm gonna get my truck and we'll go over there and help you out. Like, and then it's very hard to turn your back on those type of people, like people who are loyal back to you. So, or maybe they're just there because they just want to have somebody to hang out with and something to do. And they could give a shit less about actually learning self-defense. They don't care because there are all these people there that are supportive of them, and they have friends now, and like, of course, they've been there for years, and you know, those kind of relationships build and grow, and they feel comfortable, you know. Whereas, like, sometimes I think a lot of like legit schools, like technique-wise, that they're teaching real self-defense and things that are accurate, I think they miss that. I think that they put so much emphasis on it has to be effective, it has to work, that they forget that people actually need to enjoy this. You know, like, no one wants to continue to go to the gym just to get beat up every day. Yeah. Well, you know, like, will that help you get better at self-defense? Sure. You will learn very quickly how to fix things if there's always some type of pain compliance that happens. You know, ow, I got punched in the face. What do? Put your hands up. Okay, ow, you punched me in the face. Got to be quicker than that. You know, but like, a good instructor will make you feel welcome and comfortable. And I think a lot of gyms are so worried about being so hardcore that they forget, like, you're never going to help reach anybody unless you're actually nice to these people and they're comfortable. You know, these, as crazy as these people are, I think that they figured out how to make people comfortable in that environment.
That emotional side is,
yeah, exactly.
They got that blocked.
I think what that can help cause is, you know, that feeling where sometimes someone goes, wait a minute, do you hear that? And you're like, yeah, I think I do. Or like, you smell that? And there's nothing there. Like, I've done that with people before. I don't even know why, because it's not even funny. Where there was nothing, and I'm like, do you hear that? And after a while, they say, yeah, what is that? and they form such a relationship that they're like, I think I do feel something.
Yeah.
And it's genuine, and maybe they aren't just trying to play along, but there is something sincere there. I don't know, it just made me think of that.
It's like a placebo effect.
Yeah,
bit,
like that.
Have you ever read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I've heard of it so much, but I haven't.
It's a fantastic book, and it's really good about understanding how to make connections and relationships with people. But one of my favorite parts of the book is it talks about being in a room, like a waiting room. So you're sitting in the doctor's office, and you're waiting, and you're sitting down, and everybody's dead silent. That's how it usually is, right? Nobody's chit-chatting, right? Everybody's silent, playing on their phones. But then a baby comes in a stroller, and you look at the baby, and what's the first thing that you do? You usually smile. You see a baby, everybody smiles. It's a baby, it's cute, right? But then what that just did was that gave that baby the control of you. Like, it smiled, so you smile. Well, that same thing can be done with almost anything. Like, if you start talking with your hands, whoever you're talking to, 9 times out of 10 will start talking with their hands. If you nod as you speak, the other person will start to nod as they speak. It's a reaction, right? But it goes to show you that those little things about mind control, those little manipulations that you can do in people, those people can do that on a grander scale. Whether they understand they're doing it to people or not, they are. And it happens to us all the time. Why do you think they have the fucking snacks at the end of the registers? Why? Because it's right there. It's staring at you. How many people just reach up and grab a candy bar? That wasn't your fucking idea. That wasn't you controlling you. That was lack of self-control is what that was. You were walking up going, fucking candy bars. Talking to me. And candy bars like looking at you. Hey, buddy, come on. You want a little nougat? Huh? You want a little nougat? And you're like, yes, I do. I am weak.
It's right there.
Yeah, but like somebody came up with that idea. Somebody, a salesperson or whoever, like marketing, was like, you know what? I bet you if we did this, more people would probably buy it. But that we're being manipulated that way all the time. So I'm never surprised by the fact that people are taking these classes. It stopped surprising me a long time ago because I kind of get a little bit that they're getting more out of this than just self-defense, right? But then again, a lot of people who are looking at these people dumbfounded also don't understand Taekwondo, or they also don't understand Tai Chi, or they don't understand Aikido, and they don't understand, like, there's little benefits here and there that you're getting out of this that might not necessarily be application, but you have to remember it's martial arts. There's a martial side of this, which is application, war, technique, conditioning, like hardcore, right? Then there's the art, jump, spinning, backflip, hook, kick, shit, 540s. Like, some people can pull it off. Raymond Daniels 540s people and knocks them out. Like 720 people knock them out. Most people can't do that. They just do it for fun. Or nunchucks. I love nunchucks. Do nunchucks all the time. Love it. Would I ever be like, hold on, don't mug me, and pull out my nunchucks? No. Like, because it's fun for me. It's the dexterity, and I enjoy it, and it's fun. Just because I can't apply that to combat, which some of you can, but just because I can't apply like a finger roll to combat with a nunchuck doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it and I don't have fun with it, and it helps me think. It clears my head. Like, my office is empty as shit. It's empty, and I'm just swinging nunchucks going, I think that's a good idea. You know how most people think when they're taking a crap? Yeah, that's my version of taking a crap.
I think that, I don't know if you're still, and I'm sure we'll get into this at some point, I don't know how far along you are with the footage that you're getting for your documentary, if you're going to do more than one, but I think it would be really cool if somewhere in your documentary or whatever your projects are, you get a hold of a, because you know sometimes you'll watch like Dateline or whatever, and they'll talk to like someone who was in a cult, and now it's like black, and they're telling all the details. This is what they did to me. This is what I believe.
That's actually a great idea. Yeah, I really do like that.
To
I do like that, and I do think that there are a lot of people who have those experiences where they were a part of something like that, and then they like go, fuck, man, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then they decided to change for the, like, you know, that's all opinion, you know, for the better. Like, some of these people who are in these, they're as happy as a clam that they're learning how to knock people out with their mind, right? Until they need to really use it. And then they realize that it's crap. But, you know, to me, that's dangerous, which is why I do what I do. I really do think that it's a dangerous thing to play a game like that. One, because it is very culty. It's very culty. What's stopping me? Let's say today, right now, I can convince you to get knocked out with your mind. But what's stopping me tomorrow to convince you to do something even worse? What's stopping me from making you drink the Kool-Aid? What's stopping me from getting you to rob a store? What's stopping me from getting you to pay me way more in tuition because I brainwashed you? You know, so like to me, it's a very dangerous thing to do. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being respectful. You know, like you bow on the mat, you shake people's hands, ma'am and sir. Certain studios require stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Titles, your boss, you don't come up to, you're like your boss at corporate. What up, dude? Like, no, it's President, yes, sir, Mr. President. You know, like there's very formal things in our culture that are okay. What you don't do is you don't call yourself Ultra Super Supreme Grand Master and then make everybody call you that all the time. There's something creepy and gross about that. Like or people who make up their own styles and just like when they make up their own style, it's not battle tested. You know, like the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, right? Battle tested. If you want to talk about a style that you can go back and look at the lineage, you could look at all like the step-by-step processes in which they made that. It is incredible how well documented it is. Like you can go back and watch the Gracie Challenge videos. They were like developing their style using real fights. Like that didn't work. Back to the drawing board. Oh, that worked great. You know, like that kind of stuff. And they were like tweaking their technique. They made their style. But then when there's Sensei Bob like buys a black belt and goes, you know what? We're going to go Bob Jitsu today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make some crap up, and that's what we're going to do. That's a problem, you know, because – and then when you look back, lineage is huge. You know, who'd you get your black belt from? Well, you know, I'm a 10th degree black belt in my own style. I made it up. You know, you're like – so no one taught you. No, I didn't need to be taught. I took all the good parts of all the other arts and smattered them together. Then you took all of these arts. Well, I didn't take all of them, you know, but I took enough to know. Like, what's your belt in all of those arts? Oh, I don't have any belts. I don't believe in belts. Far too deadly for a belt. You know, like, you know, those kind of people are like, right. But people fall for it, man. Because, you know, a good salesman, they can make you buy stuff.
You know what, Rob? Let's talk about some tactical stuff for other people who maybe want to, maybe people who haven't even started a channel yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Their own Instagram channel. So how long have you been doing it?
5 years.
5 years? Wow.
5 years.
Can we intro that question again?
Okay, yeah. Yo, Robbie!
Very insincere.
So, Rob, for people who want to start their own Instagram channel and maybe have 0 followers, don't even have a channel yet, can you talk about maybe how long you've been doing it and kind of what your posting regimen has been? So, how long have you been doing it, and what do you do?
Well, everybody's a little different about how often they post, when they post, and stuff like that. But I've been doing it for 5 years. And consistently, I've made a decision to post once a day. Now that I'm making more original content, I might post 2, maybe 3 times a day, like as I grow. But the idea is consistency. If you really want your brand to grow, it's just like anything else. If you go to the grocery store, right? You go to that grocery store because you know when it's open, you know the type of service you're going to get, you know the people there, right? Well, it's the same thing. Like this is a business, and in a business, you have to be regimented. There's no professional business that's like, you know what? We're not going to work today. I think we could all just take the day off. Yeah, cool. How about we just take the month off? Your followers are relying on you for whatever reason to give them a stimulus. And that stimulus is whatever you're providing them. You could be providing them with a laugh. You know, like a lot of people follow my page just because it's funny to them. And that's all they want. They want nothing more. Yeah. But, you know, like that might be why people start to follow you. But the only reason they stay with you is because you're providing them with something new. You know, everybody gets upset when somebody makes something new, right? Oh, that's not what you guys used to do. I missed the old stuff. But nothing stays the same. You can't exist without growth. And if you want your fan base to grow, you have to grow. You have to develop. And you can keep providing that original content, that content that they stayed for. But if you don't start to slowly branch off and make more content or things that are unique to you or better or different, they're going to leave you. They'll leave you quick.
So what kind of new things have you been doing? How have you been changing things?
Well, you know, I started off, when I first started posting, I did it completely different than I do now. I first was only on Facebook because Instagram had just... Oh,
you started on Facebook?
Yeah, because Instagram was just a thing. It like, you only could post pictures at that time, no videos, you know, and then it was like not too long after that, you could post like 10-second video clips, and I think it moved to 15, and now it's like a full minute. Yeah. So it's evolved, but what I would do is I would go on Facebook and I'd write these long diatribes about why these martial arts were fake.
On every post?
Yeah, like we're talking long. Like I'd do my research. I'd sit down for hours at a time, go through their websites.
Like a vlog.
Yeah, go through their websites and go, okay, this was wrong. This is incorrect. This is a lie. There's no way that's true. And I would just go through.
Daily, you would do that from the get?
Yep, right off the bat.
Really?
Yeah, man. And then I did that, and then after, like, it didn't take very long for me to realize, I was like, shit, this takes forever. So I was like, but it only, I wasn't getting anything back. Like, it was just me venting. Like, it was like a video diary of me being pissed off that people were ripping people off. But no one wants to hear people bitch.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear you complain. Everybody, you hear complaining all the time, complaining about politics, complaining about, no one wants to hear that shit, So I realized, like, no one's really paying this any attention, and they don't care as much as I do. And nobody's ever gonna care as much as you do about your content. Yeah. So if anybody's out there and you're like making content, no one gives a shit as much as you do. I'm just letting you know.
That's for you guys. I'm pointing to the camera.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's for y'all.
I thought you're pointing over here. I was like, oh, somebody's here.
Because you were putting out this content, and then you saw that people weren't reacting to it like you thought that they might.
And then one day I was like, I kind of had, I don't care today. I had one of those moments, and I just reshared. It was like a funny video. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was just a funny video. I reshared. It was martial arts related. I was like, that'll do. And I had more followers that day than I had in months. I had more shares and comments than I had in months.
Did you say anything, like a quick one sentence?
I don't think I said anything. Wow. I think I just posted it and moved on.
For itself?
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude. I was like, it kind of sparked something in my brain. I was like, there's something here. There's something there that I'm not understanding. And it took me a long time to really kind of get it, but it was the start of what would become satire. Like I was like, well, this guy is really close to this. And I was like, Master Ken is really similar to this real guy. And this is like almost like a joke. So if I put them up together, like one day I'd post like a Master Ken. And then the next day I would post like, a real dude being crazy.
So Master Ken was already doing his thing.
Yeah, he had been doing his thing. And so I'd post those things, right? And then I realized what was happening was sometimes people were having a hard time deciphering what was real and what wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Because people who weren't in the martial arts didn't know who Master Ken was, and they didn't understand it was a joke. And I was like, I don't know. I was like a little taken back. I was like, I think that's the direction I need to go. I think that instead of treating it so serious, like, which is what those guys are doing, why not just laugh at it and have because everybody likes to laugh. Who doesn't like to laugh, Right. So like, then I could bring in an audience that might not be martial artists. And like I said, it was only a few months ago or not too long ago that I really realized that it's really for a consumer. It's like a consumer page a little bit. But the guys in the arts can laugh at it, but the people who aren't in the arts, they almost get like a lesson. They can look at this and go, oh man, why are they doing that? They can ask those questions and they can get responses from real martial artists going, this is a lie. I don't really have to interact that much in the comment section like I used to.
Yeah. Very active.
Yeah. But back to like how I post and stuff, hashtagging was really important.
So that moment, so you put out these videos in a more serious form where you were really breaking down and doing like studying that specific person, and then creating this response. And then you said you shared this funny video that kind of took off.
Yeah.
From that moment, did you instantly switch and said, "Oh, this funny thing is working. Let me just do that," or did you continue to do?
No, I continued. Like I'm an idiot. Like like when it's weird because like it's almost like a study. Like you're there's a constant evolution going on with your content, like with your page and the direction that it should go. And sometimes less is more. Like if I now I leave maybe a sentence at the most, and I leave it be because I like it being left up to interpretation as to what other people think. And if I write too much, I'm thinking for them. And I realize like less people are commenting, less people are interacting if you just blatantly say the thing. But if you like kind of stare at it, like, hey guys, look at that thing, look over there, and then people go, oh my God, did you see? And like it's quite obvious that that's what everybody's looking at, but because they're interacting and because they're saying what they want to say and because they're given a forum to also have an observation, it's not all about you. It's about them and their experience that they're getting. And that's awesome because now I don't have to worry about all that pressure and stress of all that research. I just have to take it for face value, look at it for 2 seconds and go, that's funny, and then post it out there almost like a meme, and then like back up and just see what other people do. And I've had days now where I'll leave a comment or like I'll leave my caption. I'll walk away for a second, check my phone, and somebody on my comment section will say something so much better than I could. I'll go back and be like, dude, I was like, that's gold. And I'll switch what I said to what they said.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, dude, that's too funny. I was like, that's too good. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but like I always tell them like, thank you, that was hilarious, and let them know. But you know, because it's not up to me anymore. It's its own beast at this point.
Yeah.
It tells me what to do. The fans tell me what to do. I just follow along and listen and pay attention. Like, and I think that's where people mess up is their ego gets the better of them. They're like, I like this thing.
So you really started daily from day one, and did you continue that, or did you wane a little bit, maybe
No.
year 2 or
Every day,
every single day,
every day for 5 years.
So then, if I ask you, okay, how did you get Joe Rogan and The Rock to follow your page?
I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't reach out to them. Never had a conversation with them. The most interaction I've had with Joe Rogan up to this point is one time he shared a video, and there was like Instagram was like moving around how they were doing like sponsored posts and stuff like that, and it got taken down, and his page got a warning and my page got a warning.
What?
And he hit me up and he was like, yo, just letting you know this got taken down because of this format. Just as a warning, you should probably change this up. Now, I don't know if that was him on his Instagram account. I assume it was because he's always on his own phone, on his own Instagram. But like the most we've interacted was like, I think maybe it was Christmas or something like that. I said Merry Christmas. He said Merry Christmas back.
Nice.
And we just moved on with the day. Like, but I think that I try to like be respectful of their space. Like, I think that's another thing that really messes people up is they get kind of starstruck, and I get that way. Like I know people are just people, but I have a hard time still understanding that. I'm like, oh my God, this person exists, and you're talking to me, but like
Talking about Vincent.
yeah,
right?
of course, but I think that people like they bombard these people forgetting that they are people. Like you can't so many people tag him in my stuff now. Like I don't want to say anything to him because I'm really worried that I'm going to bug him because I think other people are on bugging him on my behalf, and it's I can't control that, but I can control me. And there's no need for me to sit there like I don't know this dude. Like we're not buddy. Like he enjoys my content, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Would I be on a show? You're damn right I would. But do I like his outlook and his views? Yeah. A lot of things that he's done for content creators is incredible. He kind of paved the way in a way, like him, Paris Hilton, and there's a few other people like Pew Die and stuff like that who kind of paved the way for content creators to understand like there is a way to do this.
Yeah.
Like there's an actual formula, and that like his version of like podcasting and how like just now who doesn't have one? You know what I'm saying? Because people like you, they want to hear what you have to say. They genuinely like the you show.
Yeah.
So why not give them? Then that's an easy thing to do. It's not hard. Like record and hit play, and that's it.
That's one of the things I told him because I think he's been wanting for a while to do a podcast and loves the idea. I've been very hesitant because I'm always in character.
Yeah.
So I'm
you have to work.
Yeah.
You're working. Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, if I'm doing a podcast and I'm not in character, then they might be like, I don't like that guy. Jesse's all right, but I don't like what he says.
That guy's a douche.
So it's hard.
Yeah, man. Like, I think that was probably the one thing that I made a firm decision on. I made 2 decisions when I started this. One, I was never going to censor myself. Ever. Not for anybody. This is my format. This is my forum. This is my way of being able to put my creativity into something. And the moment you start censoring yourself is the moment you start losing, you stop the creativity. All that goes because you're worried that you're going to offend. I don't give a shit if I offend anybody. If I offend you, good. I'm glad I offended you. Because guess what? You don't deserve a seat at this table then. Like, you knew what you were getting into. If you don't like it, unfollow, move on with the day.
It's like going to a comedy show and like,
oh my God, I can't believe you made fun of white people. I'm a white guy. And like the guy on stage is like, I'm a white guy too, making the joke about white people. Like it's just ridiculous.
My comments, you're racist, you're not Mexican. What am I? No one told me.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure he is. But I always said I was not going to censor myself. So anybody who sponsors me, that's a conversation we have right off the bat.
Oh, that's good.
We have that conversation. Hey, man, like, you can sponsor me. You're along for this ride. That's cool. We can interact. I'll push your stuff as hard as I can if I believe in your product, which if I didn't, I wouldn't let them sponsor me. But I will say and do what I want to say and do, and you cannot tell me what I can and can't post. So this is what you get. You can look through 5 years of content and find out exactly what I probably will and won't say.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're here, if you're in this, you're in this. And if you don't like what I have to say, by all means, more than welcome to step away. That's cool. No hard feelings. But you can't censor me. Right, I can't tell you how to sell your product. You can't tell me how to be me.
Yeah.
So that was important. So people are like, why do you cuss so much? Well, let's say I did it the other way. Let's say I was 100% clean.
Yeah, like
and
us.
then let's say I was 100% clean.
Did that ever occur to you? Like, did you ever notice that? Because some people have made that comment about us, and I don't know if they think it's good or bad.
What, that you're clean?
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, we were just talking about Mr. Rogers before, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was able to build a wholesome brand, right? Based off of that. And he was able, because that's who he was.
It was authentic to him.
Yeah, because it was real.
Yeah.
That's really who he was, right? But, I was always worried that if I was a character of myself, that one day I would slip up and be the real me. And then people would go, why is he cussing? What was that? Like, even if it was a slip up, right? But if I am just genuinely myself all the time, then this is what you get. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. But I don't have to be fake because you have a character that you do, right? And that's versatile because that allows you to be an actor to make more characters. And people can understand that and see that, right? And you also have the ability to be yourself and a character, which is a beautiful thing, right? So you have like a lot of versatility, right? I don't have a character to play. I don't have an outlet that way, so I can only be me. Whereas if you wanted to, you can flip the switch.
Yeah.
You can be like,
so you have an advantage.
Yeah, you do. You have a very, very good advantage because if somebody, at the very least, let's say you did slip up. Let's say you made a mistake, right? You can always just say I was in character. You could fall back on that. Man, that was me being. No, come on now, like that was the character.
Jesse's dumb. He doesn't
exactly.
know better.
Exactly. So, but you could do that. Actors do it all the time, right? But I can't. So if I were to be clean, like straight up 100%, and then one day slip up, then half my fan base would be like, "You've been clean this entire. What's this?" And then it would shock them. But if I'm just unapologetically myself, and then I go the opposite way, and I have a day where I don't cuss at all, then people would be like,
"No, you'll stop following."
I'm tired of this, But like I went. It was very odd because the tirade that I went on one time about like one of these guys. I was just ripping into him. And then somebody wrote in the comment section, why do you cuss so much? And so I apologized because I saw that it offended that person. And I normally wouldn't care, but I did for some reason at that moment because he wasn't an asshole about his comment. He just was genuinely curious. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's unnecessary. You're right. Yeah. And immediately after I said that, I did stop cussing for that maybe 3 seconds that it took for the comment section to blow up with people saying, "Nah, man, you say do it exactly the way you're doing it." And I was like, because people like someone who's genuine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Be you.
If you're clean or you're not clean, as long as you're authentic to yourself.
Just be you. Just be you. Yeah, just like be what it is that you want to be because I think people can read through bullshit. Like, I really do. I think people can see right through.
And they're getting better now because they get to see, like, everybody on social media. Like, who's fake, who's real.
Yeah.
You get to see them.
And there's nothing wrong with being a character as long as it's a character.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to portray yourself as something you're not, man, the internet is a cruel place. It is a ruthless, cruel wasteland of hate. And I have been very fortunate not to catch a lot of it. I catch a little bit.
Us too. From the beginning, we've had, like, the best viewers. We get like 99% positive comment, and that's unreal on YouTube. I don't know why.
Man, it's ruthless. Yeah. And like, I get every once in a while I get like an asshole here and there, but like that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But it's very rare. I've been very fortunate, and I think that's you guys too, very fortunate to not have to deal with that issue. But the only other rule I gave myself was I was going to answer every message.
So, okay,
good rule.
Let's take a little bit of time for this. My biggest problem with responding to all of the... Now, let me ask this first. Do you have a separation between messages and comments? Do you respond to every comment?
No, I can't possibly, because like for anybody who's listening, if you pay attention, like I don't know how your accounts are doing or whatever, but the comment feed, like the notification feed, only lets you have like so many before it just like cycles out the old stuff. So you can't actually even go back. Like
in your notifications.
Yeah, like the notifications just fall off. So like if I put my phone down like right now, I don't remember how many it has up there, but maybe it's like 60 or something, 70 or something like that. But after that, like they just cycle the old ones out. It's literally impossible for me to go back and find out who tagged me and everything. I can't. It's just you can't. So I can't do that with messages. What I will do though is if I see it, I will.
Okay.
So if I flip through and all of a sudden somebody says something that was worth responding to, even if I don't have something to say back, like if they're just like, hey, thank you or whatever for the day, I'll just let them know that I am looking at what you're doing and I am interacting with you. Even if I don't have time, I'm going to, but like direct messages, that's different. Because a direct message is just going to sit there and wait for you. It's not like, oh, it disappeared. And after I tell you, dude, like, especially right now, if you don't keep up with it, it becomes hard to manage. If you keep up with it and treat it like like we were talking about earlier about like making a regiment for your day, all right, man, from 9 to 10, I'm answering direct messages. And you might always be behind, like, because I think as content creators, we always feel obligated to be like on it, right? Yeah. You can't. You cannot. That's why most people have people who run their social media accounts for them.
Yeah, that's what messes me up. I get like this guilt because I'll see people and they're the best. They send nice things. They send like memes. They want you, hey, can you talk about this? Hey, I'm doing this thing. Can you, whatever it is, it's always very kind things. And then you'll respond, and then, which is also good, it'll start a dialogue, which is cool. They're cool people. They like your content. Yeah, let's talk. But at a certain point, it's like, it'll keep going with like 15 different people.
Well, so.
Let me know what you think about this, Rob. Because I tell Vincent, you should hit up everyone who DMs you. You should respond to every single person. But I think one of the reasons why he might not want to do that is because if you respond to every single person, let's say there's 100 DMs. Yeah. Maybe 20 or 30 of them are not gonna just stop at that one message. You say thanks for watching. They're like, hey, they just want to keep going. And I think the rule is talk to them, and if they keep it going, they're gonna have to understand that you cannot keep all these conversations.
I just feel bad about that because I feel like I'd rather not respond than leave them hanging.
That's a good thing. Like I'm not gonna. I personally think it's a good thing, that you feel that way because that means you give a shit. Yeah. You actually care about these people.
I feel bad.
Like, because whether we like it or not, as influencers, that's how you got the damn name.
Yeah.
You were influencing these people one way or another, whether you like it or not. And I don't think that's probably what most people signed up for, was that level of responsibility. But you fucking got it now. And it's unfortunate because, like, every once in a while I have a message that's, like, really personal. And, like, you could tell, like, this person really wants your opinion. And you realize, like, what beast you've really made. You like sit back and go, fuck. Like I had one, I'm not going to say who it is or whatever, but I had one where the guy and his wife moved to California. They moved to California. They started training at a jiu-jitsu academy there. There was a big tournament, and they got really close with the instructor. The family got close with the instructor, and there was a big tournament, and the guy of the relationship couldn't go. So the wife and the instructor went. Well, apparently they were hooking up behind his back. And then, he kind of found out a little late, but by the time he found out, she had like racked up his credit cards with like purchases for uniforms for the school and stuff like that. It was really shady stuff. But like, that's a very personal thing to tell me. And for that person to reach out, to want to talk about that, it means a lot because that means that they trust you. And even though I've never met this person a day in my life, they feel connected enough through the content and through watching you that they feel like they know you. If that makes sense? Yeah. Even if they don't really know you, they feel comfortable because they see you every day. Whether you see them every day doesn't matter, but they see you every day. Yeah. It's kind of like somebody in your office. Hey, how's it going, Susan? Yeah. Y'all might not ever actually have that interaction, but they see you every day.
Like all three of us, we feel like we know Joe Rogan or The Rock.
Isn't it weird? Like you kind of feel like you know them, right? Like you could almost like you could walk up to them and be like, "Hey," and they'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, it's like, don't you know? We always
you were talking about people who follow my page and stuff like that. It's like, again, that they follow because they enjoy the content, right? And whether or not you can interact back with them or they interact with you, you're affecting each other's day-to-day life. That's why it's called being an influencer. You are influencing people one way or another, whether you fucking like it or not, and sometimes silence speaks loads. And let's say you send out a message to somebody like you really wanted to talk to, and you look down. This is the fucking worst now. It says seen.
Oh.
And then there's no response.
Yeah.
So they took the time to look at what you had to say, but did not take the time to go heart emoji, move on with my day. It would take you to boop. That's it. That's it.
You hear that?
But see,
are you hearing that?
No.
Are you hearing
that?
that?
Looking at you.
Okay.
He'll go and he'll see me not answer him, and he'll go seen. I'm telling him, don't do that.
But all you have to do is go back. No, but I'm not gonna heart him. Yeah.
So
if you allow me to,
tell him what you always tell me. He says it's better for them to say you saw it.
No. Okay. How about this?
I didn't mean to start some shit.
It's better. No, Rob, you're here to settle this thing. Okay.
He already did.
No. It's better to go to all of them, leave them on scene, heart their thing, and then keep it moving, right?
Oh, I got you. Well,
do you heart?
I do.
No, but I can't heart. You don't want me to interact
Well,
at all. If you let me do it, I'll. If you allow me to, I'm going to send a message to every single person who's ever DM'd us. There's nobody who reached out to us that's not going to get a DM
I do it
back.
maybe a little differently.
Like
this helps me and hurts me sometimes. But what I'll do is I'll respond, delete, respond, delete, respond, delete, respond, delete.
Like the whole conversation.
Yep. Because there is no conversation.
Yeah,
they said something. They sent me something. I send a message and I delete.
I'm down
it.
with that.
The only problem that I run into is I try not to delete the ones that look like they may lead to a conversation, but it fucking sucks when you answer them. You responded to them, you saw it, you answered, you moved on with your day, and then a week goes by, and then they hit you with a question about it. Like, so what did you think? Like, fuck, what was the thing that we were talking? So that's the only hiccup. But I answer them responsibly. I'm like, think about what, and I keep that going. So that way I'm only getting conversation that I can keep up with. Yeah. So that way, because a month goes by, somebody goes back on their Instagram, they try to keep the conversation going, and you forget, but
because we could be getting business opportunities.
It could be a lot
that
of
we
things.
don't know. We could be getting, and this is what I like. When we do our Mexican fight companions, some people have sent us videos of them watching it from their office. Those are things that we could screenshot,
of course,
share on either on our story or on our page.
It's really difficult. I don't think people really understand how difficult it truly is to keep up with your messages. It is a job. If anybody out there who wants to do content creating, be prepared to type. I hope your fingers are good, your thumbs are good, because you're going to be talking more than anything else. It's it really means something though, because I get more people who are shocked that I answered them than I get people who are happy that I answered them.
Yeah,
they're not like, oh my god, you answered. Like, yeah, of course I did. Like, that's weird. Like, apparently it is.
Is your heart moved?
Well, I want to let everybody. I don't even. These cameras are weird. Oh, there's a lens. I want to let everybody know. That's my favorite part. I love going back and forth with the people. I think the problem is I care too much.
No, that's not. You don't care enough.
Because
that's the problem.
This is all I think about when I see the messages that I'm behind on. It's like, I really want to get to these, but I know what's going to happen. A good percentage of them are gonna respond, and I'm always looking for the balance of, because we'll post a video. And within 2-3 hours, it'll have over a couple hundred comments. So we have those as well, and then we have a bunch of DMs on every platform. And then it's I need to find the balance of, because I told you earlier, we don't do anything improv. Everything is really meticulously written. So it's I need to balance the time of writing script so they have content, or I think sometimes, do they want me to respond to them, or do they want me to give them content?
Respond.
Because I can't respond to all these.
Again, like I said, I think that it is very important to interact with each person, and I think that maybe we project our own bullshit onto other people. They say when you start a business that you should never make the product price based off of what you can afford. Like, if I start a BMW dealership, I don't sell the BMWs for what I can afford, because I can't afford shit. I sell it based off of what it's worth. So your time holds value. It does. It holds a monetary value. Your time is important, and you can never get it back. The shit's gone. Like, if you fuck up your week and you're spent too much time doing something you probably shouldn't have been doing, or you always feel that, damn, It's like, man, I can't get that back. I messed this up. Like, you'll always feel obligated, and the more eyeballs that are on you, the more pressure you feel. I feel fucking pressure like crazy. Like, I had to quit my job to do this. I had to. I was like, there's too many people who are getting something out of this, some type of a benefit, for me to ignore that. And by me doing that, though, I had to become more disciplined. I had to. I couldn't like do the 24 hours anymore where I was doing 8-hour job, come back home, do 8 hours of this. I was like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate 10 to 12 hours of my day to this. And then after that, that's my time. That belongs to me. This phone gets put away now, and that's been a nice thing.
Oh, so you are doing that now. You at a certain time,
I move on with the day.
Wow. Okay.
Because it consumes you, and I think that it becomes a pitfall. Like it really will. Crazy is the word. It really will fuck you up mentally because you're sitting there and you're like, your phone's just vibrating. You're like, I know that's a message, but
I had to turn notifications off. Well, because I'm signed into my own like personal account, but then I also have the Vodo Studios account activated. But you had to turn off notifications for Instagram.
Yeah, man.
Wait, let's take our own break here and then check out this clip with.
You know, I don't know if you follow McDojoLife on Instagram. Oh, dude. I'm just going to give you a treat here. McDojoLife is an awesome collection of the fakest martial arts you've ever seen in your life. And something about these videos is so goddamn compelling because these people who are the students, they know the shit does not really work, but they pretend that it works because they're in a cult, you know?
I actually talked with this guy.
Which guy?
This guy.
The guy in the video?
Not the guy who does the chi knockout or whatever, but this other guy who actually got knocked out. He explained this to me.
What?
Yeah,
What'd he
in my
say?
DMs. Yeah, it was kind of surreal. He like hit me up one day. He goes, "I'm that guy," and I'm like, "What guy?" Because I'm the guy in that video.
What?
And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! That's you."
What did he say?
Well, so he apparently during this seminar there was like a lot of seminars going on. Right? So there was like multiple people doing classes and stuff, and he wasn't there for this seminar. He was there for somebody else's, which if you notice, he's not dressed like those guys are. You know, he's just kind of chilling, waiting for his seminar, and somebody said he should go volunteer. So he went up there and like the guy was doing this thing or whatever. And the way he explained it, if you watch the video, it looks like the guy slaps him on his back and then he falls. But the way he explained it to me made a lot of sense. He said that the guy was saying all that stuff about slapping the back and whatever the points they called them, gallbladder 52 or whatever. But he said that whenever the guy actually slapped him, he said that he had him bent over, right? So he was already like a little off balance from being bent over. But he said when he went to go slap him in the back, that he actually clubbed him in the back of the head with his forearm. And you can't really see it on the video very well, but he said when he slammed his arm down, his arm hit him on the back of the head. And he said like it did kind of flash knock him out. Well, yeah, if you club somebody in the head with your arm in the back of the head, you may get a little flash knockout or get a concussion.
Very interesting.
So he told me this, and then he's like, it did stumble me. He goes, but I wasn't like out. But he said as soon as I got hit, he goes, the people ran up and grabbed me and like started manipulating it. So it looked way worse because of that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wasn't knocked out. He was like, I just got hit in the back of the head. I kind of got starred a little bit, and I was off balance because I was leaning forward. But that's why I fell, is because he like clubbed me. And like I was already leaning forward. Well, if somebody grabs you and shoves your head down to the floor when you're leaning forward, you might fall. So it's very interesting to hear his take on it, because up to that point, I had never heard one of these people who had been knocked out this way talk about
So he
it.
really didn't participate
per
se, and like they just moved in fast
rushed
enough.
it. Like if you watch the clip, like I think he plays the clip.
This
But if you
guy's
watch,
like
the
teaching
way
people,
that
like
he
if someone
explained
comes
it
to
made a lot
grab
of
him,
sense.
like to try to take him down like some wrestler. Check it out. He's going to put his hand here. Give me some volume on this, Jamie.
Okay. Small intestine again?
Small intestine.
Oh, so the hand's coming up from on top.
Yeah,
Let's see
so
how
he
that
like
works.
slaps down, but he apparently clubs him in the back of the head from what the guy told me.
Center of the scapula.
Just making shit up.
Right here.
Dude's just making shit up.
Okay. So
Look at Homeboy's mustache behind him.
He'll come in.
He comes in, he touches him,
Here,
hits him
and
here.
strike here.
That's all you need to do, bro. Kane Vlad.
And now if you look, the people are already ready to swarm in.
Look at that. He just KO'd him. He KO'd him, bro. Get him. This is important.
But if you look, like all those people are swarming him, right?
Yeah.
And he told me he did get like a little like flash knockout from getting clubbed in the head. But like the way the guy explained it, I looked at that video so many times after that, and I just watched it over and over and over again. And I was like, I could see that.
Yeah.
And you know, like what we observe on the outside might not necessarily be what's really going on.
The explanation makes sense.
It does, right? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like it could be him kind of covering his tracks for bullshit. It could be.
Yeah.
But like when you watch, like that is something very universal. There's always a couple guys right there waiting to swarm in, you know? So I guess like even if you weren't, like they would like make it, they like manipulating you like a doll to make it look like you kind of are. Like, I don't know. It was intriguing.
Rob, we're gonna have to finish the show soon.
Yeah.
I want to get more practical stuff to finish it out.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about two things. Maybe things that you're mindful of every time you post, and then I want to talk about how you're monetizing the brand.
Okay.
So with every post, what kind of things do you think about? Lengthwise, are you editing now? Did you not edit it before? Hashtags. Talk to me like about that.
There's a couple of cool tricks about hashtags that I've always used, but I picked up over the course of time. People are less likely to share your stuff if there's a whole bunch of hashtags attached to it. Because whenever they go to use a repost app or whatever, 9 times out of 10, it automatically copies the caption. And so they have to go back and manually delete all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if there's like a stack of hashtags, it's too much of a pain for some people to do. So by not putting hashtags there, but putting hashtags in the comment section, the hashtags still work in the comment section just as if they were working in the thing. And it doesn't bother people because it's not constantly a nag. It disappears in there, you know? So like people will go through the comment section and that'll be there, but like people just ignore it and move on with their day, you know? But if it's right there in the caption, it's kind of a pain. But that's one thing that I found out that works, and it helped me tremendously. More people were sharing my stuff because of that.
Because of hashtags.
Because the hashtags weren't there. Because I used to just put them right on the thing, and then I realized like I had like all these hashtags, but nobody was sharing my stuff because they don't want to go through and delete all of them.
Wait, so are you talking about sharing on Instagram?
Yeah, that's on Instagram.
And so when they share your stuff on Instagram, are you like watermarked or something? How do people know it came from you, or do they give you credit in their
most
own
of the time they give me credit.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm that egotistical, I guess. Or like I never wanted to put me as the spotlight for that. You know, there are other guys who I don't know. I'm not going to say that they stole the idea or whatever. Like I think it's a good thing that they're doing what they're doing. There's definitely a lot of other people who were piggybacking the thought and the idea.
I saw them doing that to you. They were like, "Hey, no credit."
Yeah,
and
like
someone else sent me this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like here. I sent that dude a screenshot, by the way. I was like, look, it's right there. Like they're like, you literally took my idea.
I went to their page.
I was like,
"This is
you're
dirty."
literally taking my idea from me, and then you're slapping your logo and brand all over it. And that's, to me, that's not what I was in this for.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'll never do that unless it's original content. If it's original content, like my content, I'll put it on there, you know, just as like a nod. But like if it's like those type of videos, I don't want that spotlight on me.
Yeah.
I want the spotlight on the video. Watch watch what they're doing. Find out who they are. Don't give a shit about me.
So how do you get the content to put out, and how much are you just getting from somewhere else, sharing it, and then how much are you maybe like creating, editing, doing a little tweaking?
Well, like right now, because I just started doing it more full time, I have the time to make more original content. So my goal for coming up soon is to have a lot of original content. So like when it comes to like interviews and stuff, I do all my interviews live because I'm a one take kind of guy. Yeah, I don't want to like edit it to make myself look better because like I said, this is who you get. This is me. So when I do my interviews, those automatically get recorded. I could upload those on YouTube. So all my interviews are on YouTube. Right now on YouTube is nothing but original content.
Oh, nice.
And then on like little skits and stuff like that. Most of the time, what I do for that stuff is when I go collaborate with somebody, it's theirs. Like I just share it on my YouTube. You know, like any collaborations that we do or whatever.
Right.
I'm not editing and all that stuff. I'm not going to post it on my YouTube. But whenever you guys do, I'll just make a little playlist and just put it right there in my playlist. You know, so that way I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Now it costs me an assload more money because I have to get the plane ticket, get the hotel, and get there. But then again, it's worth it because I get to go to these studios when I'm there, and it kind of allows me to interact with people I normally wouldn't. And like I said, I invest in people. I'm not investing in brand. Like, you invest in the people and you will automatically get shit back tenfold. If you were just, like, I know it sounds cliche and I don't give a shit, but if you just invest in people, it will come back to you. Yeah. It will come back. So I don't need to slap my logo on everything. I don't need to. Like, if people want to find out where they get the content, people do it for me because I invested the time in them. People are like, oh, you should go check out this page. I get tagged more now than I ever have, and people telling other people to follow me just because they like my page. Like they'll go, hey man, if you like this, you should go follow McDojoLife. I don't have to do that. I don't have to be that guy because my following enjoys it so much that they think other people will enjoy it. But that shit didn't happen because I was selfish. It happened because I took the time to interact with these people and they know there's a human being.
Right,
you know, like I'm a real person. Like I'm not, you know, bigger. I'm not like, I don't consider it like people like your Instagram famous. Like I don't think that's true. Like I exist on Instagram, yes. Some people know who I am, but I'm just I'm me. I'm just a human being. You know, that doesn't make me any different. Like I always
Kylie Jenner is like one of us.
Yeah. Well, yes, but she's also rich as shit, and I am not.
McDojoLife. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about making money from Instagram.
Dough, yes, dude, you can make money. You can definitely make the dough.
How do you make money from Instagram?
There's a lot of revenue streams. So one is obviously merchandise, right? So the key to that is having a brand. Which if you don't have a brand, you can always start off by creating your own. Like you guys have Vato Studios, that is a brand.
Voto Studios.
Voto.
But a lot of people call it Vato Studios.
Well, yeah,
especially because of the Jesse character.
Yeah. So I've been saying it wrong. So I'm still gonna call it Vato Studios. But you know, like you start a brand, right? So your own hashtag is the best way to start. Like find a hashtag that nobody else is using that is unique to your brand, and then what'll happen is people will like your stuff and recognize that as the brand, the name. And if you look at any major brand, right, every major brand starts off with a name and a logo, and then eventually just goes into a logo. So if you look at like Pepsi, for instance, right, it's Pepsi, and then it had the logo, and then eventually you recognize the brand because they keep showing you, right? Well, it's the same thing. Like you know, if you want a strong brand, you have to represent it. You have to represent your brand, and that is a reflection of your content, your personality. It's a reflection of you. So like, and there's a lot of like really, really good brand ambassadors out there, and the reason that they were able to become brand ambassadors is because the brand sits back, looks at them, and goes, that's exactly what we want represented for our brand. And they're very picky. Like a lot of places are picky. If you want, like for instance, you guys are sponsored by Hayabusa. You know?
I'm not sure.
Well, we're gonna rework the deal now.
Oh, okay, I got you. But they had faith in you.
Right.
Like they thought that you represented them, which is great. And that, you know, that's a rarity. But you have to represent yourself 100% of the time. That's why consistency is so important. You have to be consistent.
Like for us, the Hayabusa deal was very cool to get because we had reached out to them and they didn't email us back for months.
Yeah.
And then they emailed us back a few months later and they were like, hey, thanks for reaching out. We're actually fans of your channel.
Oh,
we would love to sponsor blah, blah, blah. And so that was a big surprise for us.
You know what's funny is I think I had reached out to Hayabusa like it was years ago. But I didn't have nearly as many followers, but I always had big nuts. So I was like, hey, will you sponsor me? At like 5,000 followers, something like that. But yeah, like the thing is like they, you know, that's one way of doing it. Sponsorships, like merchandise is one, but sponsorships is huge. The hard part about sponsorships is you have to know your worth and set your own prices. There is no standard.
Yeah.
So like you can look all over the internet if you want. There is no standard for how much you should really be charging because it's all based off of what you feel your value is. So your perceived value is huge. So I think that's a big part is you have to know what you're worth. You know, what is it worth to you, your time and all that. And once
are you working with any sponsors right now?
Yeah, I have two sponsors. So one sponsor, I would give him a shout out right now. I'm gonna give him a shout out anyway. But he's like, it's like only for the week. He's just testing it out or whatever, just to see how it works. But yeah, I have two sponsors right now, major sponsors, and one is a sponsor to be maybe.
Okay.
But I have Ground Shark Coffee, which is awesome because first of all, I actually did not really drink. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
And then I had my very first cup of coffee of theirs live, and I was like doing a live, and I was like, this is my first cup of coffee from theirs. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, and if it tasted like shit, I wasn't going to have a sponsor anymore. Like, I'm sorry, like I wouldn't. I'm like, this tastes like ass. I'm not going to tell anybody different. Right. But it tasted so fucking good. I had 3 cups of coffee on my live.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, hey guys, got to try this coffee. This coffee's great. Everybody, coffee. Like, it's really fucking good. So I have faith in their brand. Like, I believe in that product. That is a product I am willing to sell. And they do jiu-jitsu. That's the Ground Shark thing. I like how they structured their coffee. Like, they have different blends, and it's all based off of belts. So they have a white belt blend, a blue belt blend. I was like, that's, you know, I like that. So I enjoy that. You know, and of course, I really like to, like, I just changed my motto to keeping martial arts legit. because that's really the goal of the page is not to like down these fake martial artists. It's really to build the community. And then my other sponsor is Diamond MMA, and I pursued because they had this video that I thought was so damn funny, and it's like a video of all these different people testing their cups out. Guys with bats hitting them in the crotch, right? Guys with sledgehammers, people getting kicked. And I was like, that's too good. I was like, I gotta. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, I'd really like a sponsorship. And at the time it didn't work out. But then I asked again. And then the second time I asked, way later, they were like, well, let's try this. We'll send you something. Let's see what you can do with it. And they put the ball in my court. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to test this damn cup everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm going to go into a different martial arts studio, and I'm going to have those martial artists with their styles hit me in the cup the way that they would do. Ooh. So that's what I've been doing. So I went to the U.S. Open martial arts tournament, huge martial arts tournament, televised on ESPN. And I kept finding people with first place trophies. And I just walk up to them, I go, hey, my name is Rob. Would you be willing to test our cup? And they would just have at it, kicking me in the groin, like punching me. I went to the back behind the scenes, and like I went to where all the breaking was and all like the breakers who break in concrete. I was like, have at it. And like they did it, right? And then it was just great. And I sent that, and they were like so appreciative of the fact that I went above and beyond for their brand with nothing in return other than a free cup. That they decided that we would work out well. And I still do it, and I have footage I still have to edit from the last time I took a Krav Maga class, and like Krav Maga all about hitting the groin. So I had the instructors have at it, dude. And but the thing is like if you really want sponsorships, sponsors want something in return. This isn't a one-sided deal. You can't just like, hey, I got a sponsor. They don't want that. They need a return on their investment, and that is what are you willing to do for them? They're giving you money. What are you gonna do with it? So you have to be respectful of your sponsors. Like it.
The ground shark deal.
Yeah.
How did that come? But did you email them?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I really don't. Like I think that it was a mutual thing. Like we both wanted it to happen, and we had conversations, stuff like that. And it's a smaller company. But damn, it will not be a small company for a long time. It's so good. I do not understand how they do it, but it's really good.
How long have you been with them?
I started really trying to push for monetization when I realized I wanted to do this full time. So it's only been 4 months, 4 or 5 months. It's not been long. That's about how long I've had my Patreon, which is another way of making money. Patreon is huge.
When you know your worth, when you're dealing with a sponsor and you say, okay, I know how much work I put into it. I know how much of a following I have, the quality of what I'm putting out. How do you distribute that? Let's say you have 3 different sponsors, but you know you're worth this much. Do they each pay that full amount? Do you make it work between all of them? That's kind of
I'm different. I think I do things a lot more different than most people do online, but I like I said, I can only be me. I only know. And I literally run McDojoLife as if it was a martial arts studio. I know that sounds silly, but that's what I know. That's the business I've been in for years. So I treat it like that. All my followers I consider students, and I treat that like students. Like, what would you do with a student in your school? Well, how's your retention doing? Are people staying here? Why are they leaving? Are you gaining more than you're losing every month? And I treat it like that. Like I have set myself goals. I would like to be able to grow this many followers within this much time. How do I do that? There is footwork that you can do to gain followers. There's like physical footwork that you can do to get followers. It's like a formula. You will get followers if you do this. Like, for instance, maybe it's jumping topic or whatever, but it's a good way of getting followers is hashtags, right? Hashtags that are relative to you on Instagram, on the app. If you look under the search, the little hourglass or magnifying glass thing, there's like people or whatever, and then there's hashtags. And you click on hashtags, it only saves so many, like 15 or something like that. And then it'll rotate out the old ones. What I do is I keep all that on a list, and I don't ever search new hashtags. Only the ones that I do, which are like BJJ, karate, taekwondo, stuff like that, right? If you go on there and you go to click on that hashtag, it'll bring up a menu, and again, it'll be a 2-sided menu. On one side, it'll be the most popular, and on the other, it'll be the newest. Well, what I found is if you go to the newest and you go through the top 10, right, and you just click like on the top 10, you're the first person most likely to like their page. The average person usually only has like 300 to 600 followers anyway, so you stick out like a sore thumb. So when they click on you to go look who did it, every time I do that, I wind up having an extra 10 or 15 followers.
We kind of started kind of doing something.
I remember I was gonna
similar to that.
mention we talked before,
Yeah.
and I remember you were mentioning that, and like that day I started doing it.
It works, dude.
and I started seeing them come in, but of course. I started seeing so many come in because of that. I was like, "Oh, we're good now." You know,
No,
we're
you got it.
posting.
It's like passing. It's like advertising. It's like passing out flyers. Because what you want is you to be seen by so many people. But it's a work. It is work. It takes time to do. But then on the other side, if you go to the most popular, what I like to do is I like to find, people that I like to follow, popular people that I like to follow, and I turn on my post notifications. So whenever they post, it automatically lets me know.
Yeah.
And then I rarely do it. It's not something I do often because I only respond, like I said, I only respond if I actually have something to say. So say somebody posts something up and I actually have something to say about it. Well, I got the notification and I'm one of the first people to comment on it. So what happens when thousands and thousands of people slide in right after that? They're going to see my one comment. And now the way that it works is with each like, it pushes your comment to the top. Well, if you're one of the first and it's a relative comment and it's funny or witty or it's informative, people will like it, shove your comment to the top, and now you have hundreds of likes because monkey see, monkey do. And then you have more eyeballs looking at your thing. So it's very easy footwork to do to gain followers.
We've had a lot of success with it on YouTube. So I'm subscribed to Chael Sonnen, Joe Rogan, UFC, and my phone, like you, it's always right here. And I'll see Joe Rogan. I'll go, oh, okay. And I'll say something because maybe I probably watched the stream earlier that day and I already had something I'd want to say. Because of course, like you said, you have to make it relevant. You can't just say
random bullshit.
People will like to say like I'm on the toilet. You know, say something like that. So I'll try to say something relevant, and then everyone starts commenting, and then like the next day or two, I'll see comments come in like, "Oh man, I discovered you because of this thread." I'm glad I did.
It's crazy, right? And I think that it's important to be genuine. You know, like if you're, don't just randomly say like first. Yeah, no one cares. No one cares that you're first. It's not going to stay up the top.
Oh, the other day, I was the very first comment on a Joe Rogan video.
Yeah.
Like I was running on the treadmill or something, popped up within seconds. You know how when it's so fresh it says now?
Oh yeah.
I opened it and I said, I started typing, thanks for the email earlier, Joe. I'd love to be on the podcast. Everyone was like, yes! I was laughing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's, like stuff like that because it's witty, it's funny, it's relevant, but like I would never suggest anybody just do that to spam someone's page. Don't be a dick.
Right.
These are tricks of the trade. Don't be an asshole.
If you like this, check out my channel.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Nobody likes that guy. Or, be respectful, because if I was going to like it and comment on it anyway, these are people that I personally enjoy to watch or follow. I was going to say something anyway. The only difference is I'm just saying it now instead of later. Yeah. Because it's more relevant to help me. It's more conducive. So, but yeah.
Let's talk about Patreon.
Yes, dude.
Because we have a Patreon as well, and there are some things that I don't think we've pushed maybe as well as we should have. From your Patreon, I think your Patreon is pretty healthy.
It's not doing too bad. I have I changed a few things around that I think helped me a lot, but I think every brand is going to be way different on Patreon. Like I've seen some of the most successful Patreons, they don't even have tiers. They have one, like just donate $1. That's the only option.
And I want to apologize to you about that. I don't know if you even know this, but do you know how I thought of this cool idea? Our tiers, they're going to be white belt, yellow belt. I checked yours out a while back, and it was like, he did the same thing. He probably thinks we copied him.
No. And I don't, like, I'm not that arrogant to think I own belts and ranks. No, I don't care.
I thought it was so clever.
No, but yeah, I did it. And then, like, I do want to change it around a little bit because you don't want to overwork yourself, and that could happen on Patreon where you're like trying to give so much.
That's what Vincent
we had to
was
rework
doing.
it.
Yeah, it's like you look at it and you're like, there's no fucking
What were you doing behind the scenes? You were doing, well, you do a newsletter for them?
There was gonna be a newsletter where I would just go on as Jesse and say the stupidest stuff, just ramble. I was gonna give shout outs at the end of the videos, and we did. We'd have their names,
pictures.
We'd actually do verbal shout outs. There would be special videos on the Patreon feed, and after a while it was like, we're going to do all this and have no YouTube video because I don't have time to write content anymore.
It's really difficult. Like, I think keeping it simple is important. The $1 is usually the standard for, like, just a tip. And now that's most people's just standard. Like, just thank you. And what I do is, another perk for $1 is I allow people to, I shout them out on my Instagram immediately. You get like that shout out. I only do it one time usually, but it's like I crop it. I just say thank you for becoming a blue belt or a purple belt on my Patreon or a white belt, and I really appreciate that. And I tag them in it. And some people, that's what they want. They want to tag. But a lot of people just like when I ask them like, hey, what's your Instagram so I can tag you? They're like, I don't want it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what they did it for. They want to support. Then my $5 one is probably the most healthy one. And like, but for that, like I do nunchuck tutorials on there. Like once a week, I toss out a nunchuck tutorial and I teach people. And a lot of people join just for that, which was cool.
Wow.
But also, they get advanced times and notices on when I do my show. So no one knows who's going to be on my show. Or they find out before who, because now I have those people shout me out and stuff. But they don't know. They just know a day. Like it'll be on Friday. Like what time? Join Patreon to find out. You want to interact and you want to be a part of this, you can, but you have to reciprocate something.
Did you create the Patreon when you made your YouTube account, or is that something that you already had before?
Oh, I had YouTube forever. Like
okay.
Patreon was actually a suggestion. Somebody was like, "You really need a Patreon. It's going to help you monetize."
Yeah.
And then like, which I like and I don't. I like the fact that people can pay you to continue to do what you do. It's like what we've always wanted with television, you know? Like, I just want the one channel. I have to buy 360 of these channels. I don't want any of those. I just want the one. Like, you can pay for one channel now. It's basically what Patreon is. You know, it's like, I like karate, the Mexican martial arts. I like that. I want it to keep going. How do I do that?
Right.
$1. Really? That's all? Yeah, just $1. Now imagine if 200,000 people did that.
Yeah.
You know, $200,000 a month would be crazy, right? But it's a little bit of help from everybody, you know.
So the Patreon stuff is public.
You know, one thing I noticed is like as soon as I switched it to how many student followers I have on Patreon from how much money I was making, I immediately started getting more followers. More
Oh,
patrons.
really?
Yes, immediately. Like
wow.
the day I did it.
Once you made it private?
Well, once I made so that way they can't see how much money it's making.
No, so instead the number doesn't say you're making X amount per month. It just says there's 200 followers.
And it helped?
10.
It helped.
Wow.
Because I think what happens is people assume. They assume too much. Like, because what's happening is you give content for free. And you're giving it out. They're getting it for free. So that's what they hold it as the value. The value of your content is free. How much is it worth to make? Fucking more than free, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And you guys make content. If you're in the studio for like 8 hours or whatever, right? Like say total for one 5 to 10 minute piece of good content, right? And you're like, you put your heart and soul into it. You're like, this is going to be gold, and it flops. And you're like, fuck. I really thought that was
4,000 views.
Yeah, it's like I thought that was going to be the one that was going to really take off, and that's how it is for content creators. We're always looking for that one because that's what we do.
Not all of us, but people who are thinking not in the right way.
Yeah,
think that way.
Yeah, you're like, I just want the one to do really, really well instead of consistent good content.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But like, what happens is it doesn't work that way. It's not up to you. It's really not. It's out of your hands what will and won't do well, and sometimes it's just fucking luck. It's just luck sometimes. This person shared it with this person. This celebrity happened to see it. They shared it, and you got lucky sometimes, right? Which is cool. I'll take luck. I'll take it all day. But you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, it's worth something. It has value. It's your time went into this, right? And then, but it's the same thing with people with gyms. People who don't pay you money for like your service will rarely use it. That's why so many people drop out of Planet Fitness. Only $10 a month or only $1 a month you can train, and then they never go to the gym because there's no accountability. Because that's perceived value. Their value of that is just that. It's only worth $10. I don't have to go. Well, imagine if you had to pay $150. I bet you your ass would be on that treadmill every day. $150, I'm gonna get this treadmill. Well, it's the same thing with your content, though. It's a perceived value. So people are looking at that, and you're giving it away for free. And then all of a sudden, you start asking for money. Well, it was always free. It's like. But you use it every day, and this really is value. If you really enjoy it, you will support, and some people will.
How did you? So, like, for someone who's like, okay, cool, then I'll make a Patreon. How did you promote your Patreon page?
I'm kind of promoting it a little bit more than I used to now, but I'm actually producing more content now. So like whenever I do my tutorials, right, at the end of every tutorial for nunchucks that I do, I just do a freestyle of nunchucks. I just play around like at the end of every video, and I take that clip and I put it up on my stories because my original content I don't like to clog my newsfeed with because you know I'll post my original content that's relevant, but like that no one cares. So like I'll post that in my stories, and people who do care about that will swipe up and they will look into that, and because those people will want that. And I heard this phrase that helped me out a lot. It's quality and quantity. So on your news feed, you want quality stuff that if somebody popped up your page, you get like the first 6 blocks to make the impression before they even click. Most people will only pull it up, look at the blocks, never click at one of them, and then move on with the day. But if you can look at that and it tells a story of what your page is about, they're more likely to follow you. So I try not to clog that up. That's why I don't put ads on there like that. That's why I don't sell ad space like that. Like each post is sponsored itself. So like I'm not gonna post like a Reebok, buy this thing, because to me it's like dirty. It's like a sellout. Like I'm gonna continue to do me, and if you want to help me with that, I'll find a way to make this work with what I do. But I'm not gonna just sell space here. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not a salesman.
What about Teespring? Do you have Teespring connected to your YouTube account?
I do. I don't have Teespring connected to YouTube because I'm about to switch everything over to Shopify. So I haven't done that yet, but I'll be putting Shopify on there. And there is now that whenever the website hits, I will be putting up with my my stories and stuff like that, like more t-shirts and stuff like that. Dude, I have such sweet t-shirts. I cannot wait to show people.
You showed me some.
Yeah, they're
you
so good, dude. I cannot wait, and I haven't posted them yet because I'm terrified that I'll post it, somebody will copy it, start selling them before I do with the idea. So I haven't showed too many people because I'm like, but they're good. I cannot wait to drop those.
Well, one cool thing about Teespring is it allows you to show the actual shirts under the videos. YouTube does that now.
Oh, really?
It's an add-on so that you could see the actual. It has a row of products now right under your video on YouTube. So it's something to think about because when you watch any of our videos on YouTube, you'll see
it's
that.
like the chips
right
by
under.
the cash register.
Oh yeah.
Right below our video, you see all our.
That's
sweaters
awesome.
and
Yeah,
shirts.
I think we talked about that before, but I just never actually did it because I actually got the Teespring idea from you.
Oh really?
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Because I was doing Spreadshirt. Spreadshirt was what I was doing. But there's no interactions or anything else you could do with it, so I switched to Teespring. And then I completely forgot about the YouTube thing. So thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. When we integrated it, our numbers definitely went up.
Oh, yeah, because if people are already, it's right there. So that's awesome.
Rob, we're going to end this. A few more questions. Number 1, what's next for McDojoLife?
A lot. So working on getting a documentary, crowdfunding for the documentary will be going on pretty soon. I'm pretty sure. I pitched a TV show. And I'm on. It's a production company, the same production company that does that show Master of Arms on Discovery Channel.
Oh, nice.
But I pitched to that production company. It was weird, but in any case, I got to the point where we actually did an interview, and I got the call back, and then now I'm on the next stage, which is they're going to be shopping the show.
Oh, nice.
So I'll find out within the next 4 weeks if I got a show or not.
Cool.
So, and that'll be about flipping martial arts studios, like schools that aren't doing financially well, going in, giving them advice on making their studios grow.
Kitchen nightmares for dojos.
Kind of.
That's cool. So.
Nice.
Oh, we're working on a show right now about like old record stores and stuff, and they're shopping it around.
Oh, that's cool.
And hopefully either we're gonna get good money for the edit that we just did, and maybe good money for some upcoming episodes. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep people informed. Now that me and Vince are gonna have like a weekly show where we keep people.
Dude. Well, let me know. I'll definitely push for you, whatever I can do. So.
Do you have any questions for us that you want to ask on a podcast?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not, man? Like, I know that you guys have done like the Mexican martial arts thing for a while, but I noticed that you guys are trying to branch off and do other stuff too now. Like y'all are doing other stuff. What made you want to take that switch? I think that you guys already kind of wanted to do it, but what kind of pushed you in that direction now?
Do you want to handle that?
Or
you're
more passionate about that.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. So when we first started the channel, we had a few ideas going around, a few scripts of like, hey, what's our thing going to be that we're going to be doing on YouTube? And Vincent wrote a series about a guy named Marshall, and it was going to be
Jacob
martial arts. Yeah, it was the series was going to be called Martial Arts, and it was going to be about Jacob Marshall and his school.
Okay.
And then he also wrote the Mexican martial arts idea, and then he thought that either one of those had legs, and we were thinking, well, the Mexican martial arts, it seems like something that if you could take, Mexican Kempo, Mexican Judo and all that, we could probably work better with the titles that way. So we decided to do that. And we kind of, Voto Studios, the name kind of already existed because I had been using it to do client work and all that. Vato Studios. We might change it. Who knows? But we actually named the channel that for a little while on YouTube, Mexican Martial Arts. But the idea was always we should, at any moment, be able to put out any kind of content that we want, and whether the martial arts audience is going to like it or not, I want us to be able to produce kind of whatever we want. And so I didn't want the channel to be named Mexican Martial Arts, and so
Kind of get pigeonholed into that.
yeah, so we've always had other videos kind of that we wanted to do, and then my brother even we shot a Fallout video that hopefully will be coming out, and so I just didn't want it to be pigeonholed into one thing. And we've seen like some channels like College Humor, be able to do different series, and I kind of liked the idea of multiple creatives being on the channel. But right now, kind of Vincent, I give him the title of like head creative, right? And he's the one who's kind of like out there doing all the creative work right now. So I mean, he gets to decide how many MMA videos he wants to do. And so right now it's all MMA because it's all Vince. But I did tell him, in growing the channel, I think one good thing that or something that would be good for us to do is tackle, just in the same way that with MMA we tackled Kempo, and we tackled Judo, and then Taekwondo. We can also take different intellectual properties, the Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, Avengers, whatever's going on, and be able to utilize that as well.
Like the Brown Ranger.
Like the Brown Ranger.
Brown Ranger's sweet. I like that.
Hopefully episode 1 is going to be coming out soon, and we'll see how that goes.
Because it kind of feels like we plateaued, because like we still to this day we get the best comments. Everyone is very kind. They seem to like it, but it feels like we've been at 76,000 subscribers on YouTube forever, and it's like when I read the comments, it doesn't add up. It's like, why did we just stop growing? And then we'll talk, and he's like, well, yeah, we've already kind of done what we can do with his niche, it seems like right now. Let's do other things. So, like if we do Power Rangers, it'll bring in people because they like Power Rangers. Maybe they don't care about MMA. Let's do whatever. And something that kind of freaks me out sometimes is he'll be like, yeah, let's do a video about like a lawyer on his way to work. And I'm like, well, who's he going to fight? And he's like, no, he's just talking. It's like, what? They're gonna unsubscribe.
No one's gonna hit anyone. No, but like we were talking about that earlier, you have to diversify and you have to change. And like, if your audience genuinely likes what you produce, they will continue to follow you. And you'll always have some drop. You always will. Whenever you do something new, you will always have a certain number of people drop but they were gonna drop anyway. They were going to leave anyway. There was just a matter of time before that thing got stale to them, and they're like, well, it's the same thing. But people will give you a chance. They'll give you a chance. So like because they're already there, they're there because they like you, and then all of a sudden you put out that new content. Like I started doing interviews, and I sometimes, like with stupid stuff like original content like that, like I did a thing because the referee Mike Beltran from the Bellator and stuff, he like picked me up from the airport the other day, and like I was like, it'd be really funny is like if I pretended you were my Uber driver. And like so we did that video. That piece of original content has been blowing up more than anything that I've ever posted.
Nice.
And it was stupid on the fly, but I think that what it was different. No one else had done that with that person. It's because it's completely original, even if it's silly.
Here's the thing too, because I like when you were talking about you were taking time to write these big pieces of reaction to certain videos. You were taking videos and then really putting in work to combat that idea or like to explain what's going on in this video. And whether or not it was working, because maybe it was coming from a negative space or not, who knows, but you tried something else and then that you saw that work a little bit. And I like the idea of being able to do different things. But like I'd like to do like Netflix shows too, other longer pieces of content. Obviously short films are cool. Animation, we love to do that, so we're gonna start a new animation channel.
I'm excited about that actually. You were saying it's very cool.
So I'm excited about that. So Chan, are you gonna promise Rob that you're gonna reply to every DM now?
It's weird. Like as we were talking, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna open all of them.
Once you catch up on them, it's not that bad. The catching up sucks. Like if you let it slip, dude, going back is like, oh, this sucks. It's like homework. Like you missed a day of school, but now you have to do yesterday's homework and today's. But man, I do think it's worth it. I do think it pays off in the long run. And you know, since this is about,
If you want me to clear it, I can clear it. It'll take me 3 hours, and it'll be the DMs will be done.
which is hard.
Give me 3 hours.
Yeah, that's
no, that's
work.
easy for me.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it day in, day out.
He's very, very social and very like, who can I talk to? And I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, man. Like I have my like my stock sayings, you know, like things that I just toss out there like real fast, like, you know, but most of it's all very true. It's just like repeating, because I get repeat shit. Like somebody.
Like, same here. I was like, yo, hey, thanks for the message. This is actually the producer of MMA, not Vincent, but he'll see the message.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
just
and
saying that
Instagram
over
does
to
this cool
everybody.
thing now too, where it like you can save auto responses.
Oh,
That's really cool, man.
Shit.
So like if you have like something
I'm
that
out
you
on
find like
vacation
you're
right
saying
now.
over, you know, like if you're saying like thank you, if that's like something that you say a lot, you can save it on there, and then once you start typing it, it automatically fill in the rest.
Wow.
And it saves a lot of time.
you're a great person. Very unique. Thank you for your perspective. Goodbye. Chant, I think we're gonna close this out now. What do you think?
No, this is good. I mean, there's so much more to talk about and so much more depth. I'm sure at some point we'll do it again.
Yeah, dude. You know me. I'll just fly out, dude.
Rob, we're gonna continue. We're about to get into a business talk right now.
Yes.
But thank you very much for being on episode 1
Hey, I got
of
to be number
Creation
one.
Theory.
I'm number one.
And
I'm number one.
follow him, y'all. We're out.
Yeah.
Peace.
That was episode 1 of Creation Theory. I hope that was useful. I have a lot more videos coming up, more interviews with people also, you know, how to get clients, how to run a business from a phone, a lot of video tutorials, things like that. So stay tuned, sub if you'd like, give this video a like, that's helpful, and peace.